Each member of the class of 1973, let Dartmouth say, "Welcome home." How were they? Were they unbelievable?
I graduated in '74, so. How long have you been doing this?
Yes. Does it look pretty to you?
The way they have it cut up makes it feel different. Yep, he's here. Oh, he's filming me.
I do. No, I used to go to school. I love it.
No gestures. Yeah.
That's what we always look for them. It'll be me this time.
It occurs to me what a word should do. So that's interesting.
Yeah. No, he's my specialty. I just needed to get some distance, like physically and mentally. Yeah. Which is good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's true. In the truth. No, I'm very
Hola.
I think he's doing a good job. But he's dealing with very difficult personalities, and it's taking its toll.
Yeah, well, I
Much more quickly than
keep asking for it. You end up it'll be 90 before you last year. I'll take anything that's better than yesterday.
That was so confusing. I could not dress appropriately.
Yeah, I agree. It's very different than oh man, really? Fairly good sized hand.
well, that's the thing. It's a drug.
Oh yeah.
Not just as a chair.
So
But also as you had a committee.
I haven't done one of it. I just really hold my umbrella and put the way that we do it. I was like 70 protected at first, but then the wind was blowing on my office and there was a wind the other way, and there's been ripped on from the roof of the skates. We're like,
That's ours.
oh, really?
Yeah. Not all of them, but this one. Yeah. Here. Yes, I see one. It's a good one. Oh yeah, he's like a vendetta. Oh, he's like. He like focuses in. That's just like he's focusing on something down the line. He's got a lot of good places under his belt. Yeah.
But I don't know what Carolyn did.
Yeah. Yep.
But you mollify it with a sense of humor.
I mean, the guy was
I am self-conscious. Yes, that's.
I mean, it makes sense, but like, I'm just finding it like fragile enough to be like such like.
How are you? How are you, by the way?
Yeah.
But I guess it's like that's on the pitch.
No, I read the story in the Upper Valley.
This is educational in some ways, but now we get more resources.
Nice. Yeah, no, she's
Business as usual.
If they panic, they can drown you. Because they just grab one and leave it.
I got it on my back.
Around you. Quite apart from that. more serious. I wish more faculty.
Yeah, we're really going to appreciate this when we're in the sun. You know, we're really going to appreciate it.
Faculty don't say that.
It's warm now really fast now.
We had a ceremony for our department of psychological sciences yesterday.
So how about you? You survived in the season?
You know my
Yeah.
thought?
No, I actually had a very like,
Saved it for you.
oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
John Fisker.
It's like everything or grass. I don't know.
Anyway,
Even this half time.
Everything she had in her
salted
So
because
what
my
did you
sister,
get?
he comes to
I was
graduate.
doing essays.
Lining up.
Yeah, this week I
They're
had
just
off.
lining up. No, but they have big annual together every quarter.
Yeah.
Sounds
Oh, so
good.
you've just been like running over to
We're in our house right
because
now.
I saw you there.
Yeah, well, I was trying to figure out what to do.
It seems to be
We have this.
the layout is different.
The rewards.
They are.
The hall isn't ready. Nice. So we're late.
So are you still, you're at least still in England?
Oh, yeah.
Beethoven 7. And the
And I insist on grading
festival.
all of their
Is it like an
Beethoven 7 I found.
No, they have to
insist on meeting with each student, not for long, to talk about their papers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Their projects that were used.
Yeah, well,
That's how I feel like.
I'm usually at this level and I'm short, so I feel like I'm more better.
American Drum, on American Drum.
Yeah, you can take a break.
Did you know Neil deHammond? And I included Donald Trump rally to explain how he uses drum. He's a totally theatrical artist. Hampton. Mellow drum. And he could well not only win the Republican nomination, but he could defeat Joe Biden, which is really scary.
I'll be back.
And if he does, he can not only pardon himself, but make that entire case go away.
Non-stop. It's
And I
non-stop.
think, of course, uses
Good
motivation.
question, like this age.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just,
Nothing's about it. Nothing's about
but then I don't
The
think
best one in the
a little bit of rock music.
Where's the
the long white pole with a little orange flag.
And then
On his inauguration ceremony, written about this with a 65 page essay entitled Preemptive Dictionary, the constituent power of Make America Great.
yeah, I know.
He's using
That's
it
a weird program.
as the right to revolution, which is in the Constitution. It's the Second Amendment. He's saying that trumps the already existing Constitution, which
It is fun to play.
also
I'm hoping I won't have to work that hard. We'll just kind of have
he's actually has.
I'm debating whether
Yeah, he did. He said every 10 years there should be a revolution. Everything should be. That's true democracy for Jefferson. What Trump is autonomous.
has in the past. He hasn't said anything about this one. So. But Dana Oaks wanted to play it on G.
people are,
That doesn't always help.
They tell you all,
Like some of my school ones, when you have to play that much, you have to do more time. So, but
yeah, they're good.
yeah.
Well, luckily they're actually emulating the Nazis used the Indian removal policy and the establishment of slave plantations and their reservations as models for their total institutions. And it was Andrew Jackson who said to the Supreme Court, "You made the law, now try to enforce it." So Trump is actually following.
down, you do the frog pose, I think it's a frog pose. I like frog. If you do a season on one toe up, you end up hurting your toes by the end of the day. You're like driving home trying to get the gas out. Or you can sit on the ground and sweat.
The 2023 commencement processional will begin now.
Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am pleased to welcome you to the 2023 commencement at Dartmouth College. This commencement takes place in the 253rd year of the college. It is my pleasure to introduce Annalee Johnson-Jennings and Ani Perkins, co-presidents of the Native Americans at Dartmouth, for a special welcome.
Halito Sa Hochifayat Annalee Johnson-Jennings. Chata Kwapa Sacanfox Micha Miami Siahoke. My name is Annalee Johnson-Jennings, and I am from the Quapaw, Choctaw, Sacanfox, and Miami Nations of Oklahoma.
Haus de Katu Han, Anyanach Tla Aya Achsayi, Laikach Ainach Ani Perkins, Kix Adi Ayachet, Kagwantan Yadi. Hi everyone, my name is Ani Perkins, or Anyanach Tla, and I am from the Raven Frog clan of the Tlingit people and a child of the Kagwantan clan.
We gather here today on the unceded and ancestral homelands of the Abenaki people to celebrate a college founded for the education of Native youth. In 1743, a young Mohegan man, Samson Occam, was inspired by a Narragansett preacher, Samuel Niles, to pursue his education at Reverend Eliza Wheelock's school. Occam would go on to become a minister and educator in Indian country.
The Reverends, Occam and Wheelock, agreed that the Mohegan preacher would travel to raise funds in Britain for the express purpose of educating Indigenous people throughout this continent. He accomplished this goal, but the college did not. Over the next 200 years, only 19 Native students graduated from the college before the 13th Dartmouth president, John George Kemeny, reignited the original mission of the college.
Since then, the college has begun to rededicate itself to its original charter and has matriculated over 1,000 Native American students, more than all the other Ivy Leagues combined. The rededication to serving and educating Indigenous people was a worthwhile venture in Occam and Wheelock's time, and it remains a worthy venture today as Dartmouth begins to intentionally honor its history.
The aim of the college was to Christianize and civilize the Indian populations. However, the very things that were meant to be stripped from Indigenous peoples, our cultural identities, only made us stronger and this place better. It is the diversity of Indigenous knowledge and backgrounds that truly makes Dartmouth valuable.
As we and this institution embark on our next chapters, we must remember that if we are willing to learn from one another and deal honestly and justly, we can enhance our communities at home, abroad, and here at Dartmouth.
On the homelands of the Abenaki people, we are lucky to have had the privilege to learn from one another. Best to all your futures, class of 2023. Ganesh Chish.
Yoko K.
Thank you.
Good morning. I am the Reverend Nancy Vogel, the college chaplain and the director of the William Jewett Tucker Center. I begin by acknowledging the empty chairs, literally empty or figuratively empty, of our loved ones, our classmates we wish were here to graduate, or our loved ones we wish were here to celebrate. We acknowledge them in order to honor them. A few years after graduating from Dartmouth in 1985, I found myself on a plane to what was then called Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I was going as a volunteer for 2 years with the Episcopal Church, working with local people to develop children's and youth programs. To say it was an adventure is to not do it justice. The experience blew my mind, and it literally changed the direction of my life. At the end of my 2 years, it was time to head home. Arriving at the local airport there in Lubumbashi with all my friends, I knew I had to say goodbye to them, not knowing if I would ever get to see them again. I was so sad, but I held it together until I got on the plane. I happened to be sitting next to a Swiss missionary. She was in the window seat, I was in the aisle seat, and she was heading home for a few months R&R. I just remember she was intently looking out the window, and as she started to turn toward me, she said, "So what's it like to be leaving for good?" And then she saw that I had been silently sobbing, and she said something very profound. She said, "Well, if it isn't hard to leave, were you ever really here?" President Hanlon, you and Gail are experiencing your own kind of leave-taking today. Dartmouth is a transformed place because you were really here. Thank you for your service to this place. And so to you and to our graduates, as you get ready to leave this place, I do hope it's a little hard for you to leave. I hope you shed some tears because you were really here, because you really lived and learned and grew and were transformed by your time here, transformed into a better, more authentic you. And I hope that you can also be excited about what lies ahead and how you will continue to be transformed. This blessing, specifically for the graduates and for the Hanlons, but applicable to all of us, is adapted from several written by Irish poet and priest John O'Donoghue. May whatever is next for you excite your heart. Kindle in your mind a creativity to journey beyond the old limits of all that has become wearisome. May it challenge you toward new frontiers that will emerge as you begin to approach them, calling forth from you the full force and depth of your undiscovered gifts. May what lies ahead fit the rhythms of your soul, enabling you to draw from the invisible new ideas and a vision that will inspire. May your spirit awaken to adventure. May you hold nothing back. May you find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. The world awaits you. So breathe in, breathe out, and smile.
Candidates for advanced degrees will be presented by their respective deans. Candidates, once raised by your marshal, please remain standing until you have crossed the platform and return to your seats. A professional photographer is present, so we will appreciate the audience's cooperation in keeping the aisles clear. After the candidates for advanced degrees have been presented, the president will confer all degrees, and the recipients will come to the platform to receive congratulations from the president. Names of the graduate students will be read as they come forward. The candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration will now be presented by Dean Matthew Slaughter.
Mr. President, thank you for your leadership. The individuals standing before you have completed all requirements for the degree of Master of Business Administration. At the request of the faculty of the Tuck School and on their behalf, I am proud to present these candidates for your conferring of this degree.
The candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Engineering, Master of Engineering Management, and Master of Engineering will now be presented by Dean Alexis Abramson.
Mr. President, thank you for your leadership. The individuals now presented to you have completed all of the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Master of Engineering Management, and Master of Engineering. At the request of the faculty of Thayer School of Engineering and on their behalf, I present them to you for the awarding of those degrees.
The candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies, Master of Arts, and Master of Science will now be presented by Dean John Kuhl.
Mr. President, thank you for your leadership. The Frank J. Guarini School of Graduate and Advanced Studies students standing before you have completed all of Dartmouth's requirements for the degrees of Master of Arts of Liberal Studies, Master of Arts, or Master of Science. At the request of the faculty on their behalf, I proudly present them to you for the conferring of those degrees.
The candidates for the degree of Master of Public Health will now be presented by Dean Dwayne Compton.
Mr. President, thank you for your leadership of Dartmouth. I am pleased to present to you these individuals who have completed all of the requirements of the Audrey and Theodore Geisel School of Medicine for the degree Master of Public Health. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I am proud to present these candidates for your conferring of that degree.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I confer upon you the degrees witnessed by the testimonials you are about to receive and declare you entitled to all of the rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto.
Will the degree recipients please come forward?
For the degree of Master of Business Administration, Destiny Chelsea Mentor Richards.
For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Connor W. Cole.
Jigger Bakhtar.
Daniel Solomon Abate.
Aaron Carrillo.
Ayajan Abdiken.
Penny Chen.
Akalua F. Abiole.
Shengja Jason Dye.
Ethan Adner.
Robert Edward Eckstein.
Edmund Aduse Poku.
Martha Scott Gilchrist.
Amritha Anup.
Anurag Gupta.
Ariana Arvela Marchand.
Hao G.
Diego Barutia Alta.
Brendan Kelly.
Andrew James Bean.
Cheng Li.
Gabriel Mola Belene.
Megan Lynch.
Julia Roxanne Bellamy.
Anfal Mahmoud.
Thomas Matthew D'Angelo.
Prosper Manguiro.
John Francis Barry III.
Stephanie Nicole Niffenecker.
Matthew Roberts Blau.
Clark Tang.
Maxwell Alexander Broninger.
Julia Pearl.
Samantha Carranza.
Sarah Russo.
Nicole K. Evans.
Carson Taylor.
Sophie R. Edelman.
Carly Wolberg.
River Bailey Fenton. Hi.
Jayan Yan.
Abby Fitzpatrick.
Sherry Yang.
Ryan Fraser.
Edan Drew.
Lauren Michelle Goyette.
For the degree of Master of Public Health, Riley Marie Ruun.
Mackenzie Grace Gwynn.
Hannah Michelle Adams.
Nicholas Morgan Hagler.
Maria Alcozoa.
Mejda Hamdad.
Ricardo Almanzan Jr.
Cameron Moon Hassun.
Faris Safi Aziz.
Wesley M. Heim.
Abirupa Dasgupta.
Rose Madison Iannuzzi.
Kathleen Demling.
Mubarak O. Idoko.
Samantha Ann Govea.
Brendan Gabriel Killarney.
Gabrielle Hayes.
Emma Catherine Koch.
Emma Brooke Hilty.
Jordan K. Kohler.
Sarah Tierney Jones.
Theo P. Joie.
Sagar Kamanjuru.
Catherine Fitzgerald Lazanda.
Megan C. Lynch.
Jenna Lee.
Caitlin Lee Me.
Brooke Pinesley.
Megan Nalamanchu.
Jocelyn S. Lopez Bonilla.
Natasha Radovanovich.
Sarah Shunjun Lo.
Mona T. Yazdi.
Diluo.
Jacob William Zakawar.
Sarah Marie Leiden. Mutasin Miraz. Michael Moyo. Walter Minyaki. Zokian Nasera. Janelle Nugmanatha. Christian Coulter Myers. Joanna Andrada Pantamilia. Sintan Parwal. Ileana Lacey Ray. Charlie Parker Reeder. Alex Rodriguez. Roberto Rodriguez Jimenez. Nathaniel Graham Rowe. Logan Linder Sankey. Jushar Singh Sarna. Adelina May Sederman. Ruben Mark Vargas Jr. Zichen Yang. For the degree of Master of Engineering Management, Aran Somasundaram. Aditi Suhas Adsule. Bogdan Milenchevich. Shristi Shadari. Ko Kent Chong. Smarvov Parida. Naman Shadari. Kavya Manikandan. Shlok Shivaji Avad. Tisha Srivastava. Yingdang. Satyam Sunil Gawali. Ashante Fernando Gil. Samantha Jane Inks. Alexander Cookman Lair. Demola S. Lalukan. Oladan Manji O. Alanyad. Saria Thais Miyamoto Magnabosco, Claire E. Picken, Vanessa Iyer Kane Pinney, Padmasharya Ramesh, Sanjay Raman Athan, Paula Raman Baranda, Liam Ross, Olivia S. Scoud, Alpana R. Videra. For the degree of Master of Engineering, Jihan Aliyah Diaz, Chen Jiang, Dianhu Edward Liu, C. Sebastian Logue, Madeline Diana Sharp, Yu Wang, Eng Shao. For the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies, Timothy Poisson, Laura Armand, Maria Iriando, Michael Siebert Wiener, Casey Carpenter, Amira Daskir, Jian Leng, Zhahu Ma. For the degree of Master of Arts, Eli James Power Berman, Armand Dorsey, Olivia Joan Short. For the degree of Master of Science, Debbie F. Sulka, Ayush Chakraborty, Nachiang Shan, Matthew Chan, Gibran Erlanga, Yanting Hua, Uhura Gatheka Kamau, Shrey Ketrapal, Parintha Kampala, Avane Sachin Kuthe, Carson Gray Levine, Shuyang Lu, Sean Anthony Mosker, Michael Sichan Meng, Samuel Henry Morton, Patrick Matthew Nicole, Lian Pang, Sean Petrovich, Elisa Tawarum Dunn, Hannah Claire Whitehouse, Pop Sao Tiare, Xiaoyi Wu, Huyunji Yu, Chen Hao Zhao, Zhijian Shong. For the degree of Science in Healthcare Research, Megan Flores, Chelsea Liliana Resendez, Bufi Meliment. And for the degree of Master of Sciences, Grace Maynard Player, Vihan Vikrush Inga,
The candidate for the degree of Doctor of Medicine will now be presented by Dean Dwayne Compton.
Mr. President, again, thank you for your leadership at Dartmouth. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I appear before you now to represent the 77 students who recently completed all the requirements of the Audrey and Theodore Geisel School of Medicine for the degree of Doctor of Medicine. That degree was conferred upon those individuals earlier this year on May 27th. We have one individual here today who is representing the graduating class of 2023.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I congratulate the Doctor of Medicine degree recipients and declare them entitled to all of the rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto.
Will the degree recipient please come forward?
For the degree Doctor of Medicine, I'm pleased to present the representative of the class of 2023, Dr. Jason Galloway.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy will now be presented by Dean John Kuhl.
Mr. President, once again, thank you for your leadership. The scholars now presented to you have completed all of the requirements of the Frank J. Guarini School of Graduate and Advanced Studies for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I now proudly present each of them to you for the conferring of that degree.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and declare you entitled to all of the rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto.
Will the degree recipients please come forward?
For the degree Doctor of Philosophy, Brooke Kennedy Bird. Arthur Felix Petuso. Xin Yu Han. Yifei Sun. Yiwen Zheng. Stephanie Sarah DeRoche, Psychological and Brain Sciences. Juanita Duque Rosero, Mathematics. Kenneth Mun Kung Mark, Biochemistry and Cell Biology. Matthew David Nemisher, Quantitative Biomedical Sciences. Melissa K. Parks, Biochemistry and Cell Biology. Jin Ran, Quantitative Biomedical Sciences. Kamran Tariq, Molecular and Systems Biology. Emma Margaret Templeton, Psychological and Brain Sciences.
Before proceeding further in the ceremony, I have the honor and privilege of presenting two candidates for honorary degrees that are not listed in the program, but will now be conferred by the Board of Trustees Chair, Liz Lempres. Madam Chair, on behalf of the college's Board of Trustees, I present to you two remarkable individuals well known to all of us for the conferring upon each of them the degrees honoris causa. First, for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Gail M. Gentis.
I think you stand over. Gail M. Gentis, as a champion of experiential learning, compassionate and engaged community member, and the wise and devoted partner to Dartmouth's 18th president, your impact on Dartmouth, the Upper Valley, and indeed the world has earned you the admiration and appreciation of your Dartmouth family forever. Born in Wellesley, Massachusetts, to a homemaker and a fireman, you were the first in your family to attend college, earning your degree in American Studies from Wells College in Aurora, New York in 1974. Your innate desire to help others inspired you to join the Peace Corps, where you spent several years teaching English to school teachers in Afghanistan before returning to the US to earn your MBA from Boston University. A very fortuitous family golf excursion introduced you to Phil, and the two of you have been learning and leading as life partners ever since. Upon arriving to Dartmouth, you immediately embraced experiential learning, expanding opportunities for students to learn by doing as director of action-based learning programs and later assistant director of Dartmouth for Life. Your involvement with the STAMP scholars and your mentorship of students, including as an advisor to Alpha Chi Alpha and Cobra, became a hallmark of your time at the college, as did your unparalleled dedication to volunteer service in the broader community. Whether donning your cycling jersey at the Prouty to raise money for cancer research, supporting the Lone Pine Recognition Program to honor talented Dartmouth staff, or serving on the boards of nonprofits in the area, from the Montshire Museum to WISE to the Hope Foundation, you've served as a model for how one person's actions can indeed make a difference. For your keen intellect, quiet leadership, and deep-rooted interest and concern for others, Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Second, for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Philip J. Hanlon.
Philip J. Hanlon, as an outstanding teacher scholar and visionary and pragmatic leader in higher education, you have guided Dartmouth through the most significant decade of institutional advancement in our 254-year history. You arrived at Dartmouth as a student in 1973 from your small hometown of Gouverneur, New York, graduating Phi Beta Kappa with a degree in mathematics in 1977 before earning your PhD from Caltech in 1981. 40 years later, following a series of successive appointments at the University of Michigan, you returned home as Dartmouth's 18th president to lead your alma mater. Reflecting on our first 250 years, you charted a bold new course for the next, moving Dartmouth forward through academic excellence in service to the world. One by one, new buildings arose and new initiatives were born in support of that vision, fueled by a record-setting $3.7 billion raised through the Call to Lead, the most successful and inclusive fundraising campaign in institutional history. You eliminated barriers to entry for the world's most talented students through historic levels of funding for financial aid, while recruiting best-in-class faculty to Dartmouth through the academic clusters. At the same time, you energized our research enterprise, in part through the creation of the Frank J. Guarini School for Graduate and Advanced Studies, along with world-class centers and institutes focused on some of the most important challenges of our time. As a result of these efforts, Dartmouth not only regained its status as an R1 research university, but earned a seat at the table in the prestigious Association of American Universities. What's more, your unwavering commitment to building a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive campus, and to instilling a culture of prioritization and reallocation, further elevated the success of this institution. And you never lost sight of the most important work of the college, teaching, dedicating yourself fully to students in the role of a caring professor every year of your tenure. Through it all, Phil, your calm, compassionate leadership and humility prevailed. Your presidency will long be remembered as one of the most consequential in our history, both for the scope of its ambition and the depth of its impact. It is therefore our very deep pleasure to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Phil and Gail, thank you both so much for your leadership and your services to this college for 10 years. Mr. President, on behalf of Dartmouth's faculties and pursuant to votes by the college's Board of Trustees, I present to you 6 remarkable individuals for the conferring upon each of them the degree honoris causa. First, for the degrees Doctor of Science, Gilda Berabino.
Gilda Berabino, as a pioneering chemical and biomedical engineer, award-winning interdisciplinary scholar, and accomplished academic leader, your dedication to the advancement of science and to equity and equality, broadly speaking in the STEM fields, has made you one of the most respected and influential problem solvers of our time. Always an inquisitive child, you grew up in a myriad of cities as part of a military family, eager to understand how things work. When your high school chemistry teacher implied that the subject wasn't meant for girls, you made it a point to prove otherwise, earning your bachelor's degree in chemistry from Xavier University of Louisiana in 1978. 8 years later, you became the first African American to earn a PhD in chemical engineering from Rice University. After a series of successive appointments at some of the world's most prestigious universities, you rose to the presidency of Olin College of Engineering in 2020 as the first female and African American in that role. Your path-breaking research on sickle cell disease has informed current technologies, opened the door to new avenues of research, and formed the basis of novel therapies. In addition, your expertise in eliminating barriers to success and building supportive cultures for underrepresented groups has deeply influenced the work of the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and even the US government, as you spearhead the formation of a coalition to expand and diversify the semiconductor workforce in support of the 2022 CHIPS and Science Act. For your inspirational leadership as a scientist, educator, and administrator, and your unrelenting drive to develop science and engineering solutions that lead to a more healthy, prosperous, and just society. Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. Thank you, Gavin.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Science, Jennifer Dawn Carlson.
Jennifer Dawn Carlson, as an outstanding scholar and distinguished professor of sociology and government and public policy, your path-breaking research has significantly enhanced our understanding of the American gun culture and the consequences of gun violence on people's social and political lives. You arrived on the Dartmouth campus in the fall of 2000 to pursue a degree in math. But for you, a single major wasn't enough. With an innate desire to ask interesting questions about the social world, you graduated summa cum laude in 2004 with a double major in mathematics and sociology, a combination you brilliantly applied to your life's work. A senior thesis on the death penalty under the mentorship of Professor Catherine Lively inspired you to earn your PhD in sociology at the University of California, Berkeley, where you began to explore American gun politics. You continued that intensive investigation, first as an assistant professor at the University of Toronto, and then at the University of Arizona, fearlessly and exhaustively combining participant observation, in-depth interviews, and ethnography to better understand the motivations, assumptions, and complex social forces that drive gun ownership and shape gun culture in the US. As the author of 3 books on the subject and the recipient of a prestigious MacArthur Fellowship, your deliberate choice not to align yourself with either side of the gun debate has enabled you to move the public conversation about guns forward. At the same time, your rigorous and balanced approach has helped you teach students how to talk about politically controversial subjects productively, a much-needed skill in our highly politicized and polarized society. For your contributions to our collective understanding of gun culture in our country and to elevating discourse in hopes of facilitating a way forward, Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Science, Andrea Hayes Dixon.
Andrea Hayes Dixon, as a pioneering pediatric surgeon and a passionate researcher and educator, you shattered glass ceilings in medicine and higher education while dedicating your life to the fight against pediatric cancer. Born and raised in Los Angeles, you expressed your desire to be a baby doctor ever since you could talk. Determined to make that dream a reality, you came to Dartmouth, earning your undergraduate degree in religion in 1987, before going on to earn your medical degree from the Geisel School of Medicine in 1991. After years of intensive training and with the encouragement of outstanding mentors, including Dr. Thomas Carlaccio and the late Claude Orgon, you became the first African-American woman to become a board-certified pediatric surgeon in the United States. In 2006, you pioneered the use of heated chemotherapy to treat children with the rare and devastating cancer known as desmoplastic round small cell tumor. You have since performed hundreds more of these procedures in pediatric patients, doubling their chances of survival from 30% to 60%, and traveled the world to teach others how to perform the life-saving procedure as well. In addition to treating patients, you work tirelessly with students and colleagues in the lab to identify the origins of rare cancers and find a way to prevent them while educating the next generation of leaders in medicine as Dean of the Howard University College of Medicine, the first Black woman in history to serve in that role. For your extraordinary contributions to the medical field, your exemplary leadership in higher education, and your commitment to providing hope to childhood cancer patients and their families, Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, Benjamin Wilson.
Okay. Got some fans on the stage. Benjamin Wilson is a highly accomplished attorney in the field of environmental law. Your exceptional track record as a litigator and an executive is matched only by your dedication to diversifying the legal profession and creating an equitable and inclusive community for all. You grew up in a segregated Mississippi to parents who believe firmly in the power of education. After a transformative prep school experience, you made your way to Dartmouth, where you excelled as a student athlete, graduating magna cum laude and Phi Beta Kappa with a history degree in 1973. Seeking to emulate prominent civil rights attorneys like Wiley Branton, A.P. Turod, and Constance Baker Motley, you went on to Harvard Law School, earning your JD with honors in 1976. Immediately thereafter, you joined the prestigious law firm of King and Spalding, and following a stint with the U.S. Department of Justice, became the first Black partner at Beveridge and Diamond in 1986. For the next 35 years, you practiced the law that you love at the prominent D.C. firm while nurturing the development of others, rising to the role of chairman in 2017. You played a leading role in the Duke Energy coal ash spill remediation project and the Volkswagen AG emissions proceedings, though your legacy as a leader extends far beyond these landmark cases. You've generously lent your time and talent in service to others, including Dartmouth, through exemplary Board of Trustees and volunteer service. The Diverse Partners Network you founded in 2008 to assist minority lawyers in overcoming challenges they would experience in the legal profession is now 6,000 strong. And your dedication to teaching at Howard University School of Law, even after your retirement, is a testament to your desire to inspire young lawyers of color to pursue excellence in their fields. For your outstanding contributions to the practice of environmental and natural resources law, your leadership and mentorship of students and colleagues throughout your distinguished career, and your advocacy for equity and equality in your own field and beyond, Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Ben's got some fans out there in the class of 73 section, I can tell.
Mr. President, for the degree Doctor of Arts, Philip Anderson Lord and Christopher Miller.
Philip Anderson Lord and Christopher Miller, as Academy Award-winning animators, writers, directors, and producers, you've captivated and delighted audiences worldwide through creative film and television storytelling full of wit and optimism. You arrived as students at Dartmouth in 1993 from opposite corners of the country, but a shared interest in animation fueled by film professor David Ehrlich made you fast friends. With your animated shorts earning accolades and gaining a following even before you graduated, you caught the attention of a studio executive, effectively launching you on a path towards realizing your childhood dreams. Before long, your support of one another's ideas helped you rise to Hollywood fame in a creative partnership that would become a model for collaborators everywhere. With imagination and inventiveness, you created a series of animated box office hits, including Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, The Lego Movie, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which won the 2019 Oscar for Best Animated Feature. Yeah, that's worth applause, yeah. You extended that success to live-action film and television projects, which included fresh takes on old favorites like 21 Jump Street. From edgy animated cult classics like Clone High, to genre-crossing television series like The After Party, your range is as broad as your talent is deep, making you one of the most highly sought-after duos in Hollywood. Big screen or small, your distinctive style, attention to detail, and hilarious and emotional storytelling have led to outstanding commercial success, including with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which shattered box office expectations in its worldwide opening this month. For your outstanding body of work in film and television entertainment, your commitment to the arts and to advancing animation as an art form, and your unparalleled dedication to each other and your craft, Dartmouth is proud to award you the honorary degree of Doctor of Arts. So Chris and Phil, would you please address the graduates?
Hello, it is I, Chris and Phil.
Thank you to President Hanlon for that generous introduction, and thanks to the faculty and staff, the trustees, and our incredibly impressive fellow honorants.
They are so amazing. Give them another round of applause. You can't believe these people.
And especially you, the class of 2023, for this ridiculous honor.
It is a pleasure to be back here at the foot of Dartmouth Hall and in the front yard of the Hopkins Center, Lincoln Center's fun older sister.
We graduated from Dartmouth 26 short years ago, and we are proud to call ourselves your fellow granite brain haver-inners.
It was the year 1997 when email was the cool, hip way people communicated, and bagels were considered a healthy weight loss strategy.
We are so honored to receive this suspiciously generous degree of Doctor of Arts, mostly because, as two comedy writers, Doctor of Arts is one apostrophe away from a very silly Irish last name.
We are here to tell you the meaning of life.
Take it away, Phil.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Yes, the meaning of life, which we definitely know, and which Chris will tell you later.
All right, fine. We graduated on this green, just like you, excited, tired, nervous, a little hungover, and today is no different.
Why must it be so early? 2 o'clock sounds like a great time to graduate.
Back then, we were wondering, do we have what it takes? The answer is still no. But we didn't know any better, and after all, everyone kept telling us that we were wonderful, and we believed them.
Like Wile E. Coyote going over a cliff, who doesn't know he should fall until he looks down. Our advice to you, never look down. After all, you are all wonderful.
At our graduation, we had 2 valedictorians. They gave their speeches one at a time, and obviously this way is way cooler. And one of them quoted a German poet who said, "Be sand, not oil, in the machinery of the world." And we think about that all the time.
Especially when we are in line at a Starbucks in the airport. If you're in line at an airport Starbucks, please be the oil. You had the whole line to figure out your coffee order. Just spit it out.
The rest of the time, however, sand it up. Vox Clementi in deserto, the heck out of it.
We wanted to be artists, and that seems like a very unreasonable thing to want to be. And we are here to explain why it isn't.
And go ahead.
We have been doctors of arts for 5 minutes now, so we are experts.
There's a Picasso in the Hood Museum. It's a very early Cubist still life. It used to live in Gertrude Stein's house in Paris, and then it was bought by Nelson Rockefeller, who lent it to the college for display.
So it's fancy. When it was time to send it back to New York, the director of the museum thought that it ought to stay with the college permanently. And Mr. Rockefeller said, "Great idea. You can keep the Picasso in lieu of the big donation I was about to give."
Well, the development office did not like that, and they asked the president to give back the Picasso.
Like, is it weird if we give it back? Do you think it would be strange? And the president of the college had a choice to make and a question to answer, namely, what is the value of an idea?
A painting is an object to be looked upon, and it's the record of the act of looking. This particular painting was one of the first examples of a whole new way of looking at something from every possible angle, using newspaper and sand. Interestingly, he used both sand and oil to make this painting.
So you can do both. It's not just a painting, It is the residue of somebody thinking. It is an idea made manifest. It is quite literally priceless.
Your imagination is the single most valuable thing you're going to take into this world. And you don't even have to be Picasso, and you probably shouldn't, because he was kind of a bad guy.
There is a myth that artists are somehow extraordinary, unique geniuses, but that is baloney. We are living proof.
So stop asking yourself if you have what it takes. You do, because you're a human being, which is the best animal.
You are all artistic geniuses compared to a bear. Could a bear build Baker Library? Maybe if it was friends with beavers.
Crows are also smart. Maybe they could help. Maybe a dolphin if it had robotic hands and legs. See? That is an idea.
It's not a good one, but that's not the point.
The point is, it doesn't matter if you're going into finance, consulting, medicine, teaching, or basketball. Every field is a creative field, and they all need your imagination.
That's why we want to ask you to continue to make space in your life for art, much like this campus and this green makes space for it, and make space for silliness and playfulness. It will keep your mind from turning flabby. It is a dumbbell for your soul.
Art is often very silly, but it's not frivolous. People have been going into dark caves to see paintings and hear story for 30,000 years at least, longer than people have been eating bread.
One time we played hooky from work to hear the author Kurt Vonnegut speak, because we are very cool rebels.
And he passed out little golf pencils and little pieces of paper to the whole audience, which we are not going to do to you today because we are not very organized.
And it's so early.
And again, slightly hungover.
So he made us write a 4-line poem on the little piece of paper, and it took forever, and it was very awkward. And then he said we didn't need for it to rhyme, but that it would be better if it did. He had opinions. And when we were done, he said something crazy, which was, now tear it up into little bits so no one can ever read it. And he said that the reason to do that is because we had already gotten so much value out of writing that poem that we never needed to show it to anyone, because we had experienced the exhilarating, crazy miracle of having an original thought.
We had a lot of great professors at Dartmouth. Our animation professor, David Ehrlich, is watching. Hey, David. He believes everyone who walks into his classroom is an artist, and he's right. He also thinks he should wear purple every day of his life, and he is wrong.
He has made artists out of engineers and physicists because he told us all that we were wonderful.
He once smuggled an animated film across the Iron Curtain because the Polish government was afraid of a cartoon, and they definitely knew the value of an idea.
David's idea is that art isn't just for Gertrude Stein or Nelson Rockefeller. It should be commonplace, and the people who make it should be everywhere.
Maybe artists should be thought more like bakers. They make something you need every day, and it's a very learnable skill.
There was a time when everyone drew and painted and played an instrument and wrote stories, and then 7th grade came along and ruined everything. That's the age when you start to judge yourself and then feel judged and worry about how silly you look.
We are here to tell you, do not worry about it. Look at us right now dressed in wizard costumes. Like we are rejects from Hufflepuff. It is okay.
Art is something that doesn't need to be done for money. You guys already know that as the generation that decided never to pay for music.
The thing that separates us from monkeys and bears is that our brains think in metaphors. It's as if, I cannot think of the metaphor right now, it's very early. But we do.
We recently spoke to a young person who said that they wanted to become a filmmaker, but that in order to do that, he would have to be 1 in a million. And In fact, that's not true. We even asked a very famous psychologist named Marty Seligman what it took to be a 1 in a million creative genius.
He said you don't have to be 1 in a million. You just have to be 1 in 10 at like 6 things. And then that compounds into being 1 in a million. That means you only need to be like an A-, guys.
Or you can be 1 in 6 in 10 things, and that is like a B. I think the math checks out, but I got an A- in statistics.
Look at us. We are not special. We are just pretty good writers who happen to be pretty good artists, who happen to be pretty funny and make pretty good decisions about who to team up with, and are pretty driven and pretty resilient. And we work really super incredibly hard.
Yesterday was our first day off in 1 year, and we spent it working on this speech. Which is a long way of saying that if you want to have the kind of career that makes people deluded enough to think that you are qualified to give young people advice at their graduation from behind a big stump, the news is you only have to be pretty good.
We got an opportunity to meet a few of you this weekend, and you wanted to know what the secret is to success. And our secret was that it was never about success. It was always about the work.
The truth is, we care about this stuff. We would do it for free. We care about semicolons and sound mixes and frame rates. We sweat the details because to us, these silly movies and shows are the most important thing in the universe.
So find something that you care about. And it doesn't have to be your job. There's a difference between your job and your work. The work is what you put of yourself in the world.
On social media, everyone is successful and perfect and thin and awesome. Don't look at our social media because it's
Other than us.
full of mistakes. And also people dance for no reason, which we don't do. They don't show you all the failures that happen along the way. At least that is what I am told. We have never failed.
We don't call them failures.
We call them mistake-you learnings, or an alternative term is catastrophes.
The first show that we wrote on was canceled after 5 episodes. The first show that we created was canceled after 8 episodes because it caused a hunger strike in India, and I wish that were a joke, but it is true.
The next show we worked on was canceled after 7 episodes, and in fact, no show we ever worked on got picked up for a second season after we worked on it, until How I Met Your Mother, which got picked up for a second season 2 weeks after we quit.
We bombed interviews with South Park, Larry Wilmore, Craig Ferguson, the Rugrats. We were fired from the first movie we ever wrote and from the last movie we directed.
We have lost 3 Oscars, 1 Emmy. We have been made fun of by Chris Rock at an awards ceremony.
True.
And mocked by David Fincher at a funeral.
Also true. But don't worry, you're not going to fail like we did, and hopefully not on the CNN ticker like we did. But you are each going to fail in your own unique, beautiful ways. And it's going to really suck.
And that is all right. That is what is supposed to happen. When that happens, just know you are right where you are supposed to be. Picasso made a bunch of bad paintings. He just painted over them until they were good paintings.
Our first drafts are always bad. And we work on them sometimes for years with helps from lots and lots of people until it works. That's why it's called the creative process.
And even though it is this long journey of hundreds of tiny little failures, a lot of work and a lot of help, it ends up seeming like a miracle of purpose.
So don't worry about the future. All you have to do is be better at something than a computer.
Which should be very easy because computers are sometimes so stupid.
They can't identify which picture has a stoplight in it.
And they are so bad at spelling.
We asked ChatGPT to punch up this speech and see if you can spot which jokes it wrote.
And I'll see if I can find someone to pay off these student loans.
AI is a really useful tool, but it can't have an idea. It's a derivative imitation machine that's as creative as a paintbrush, which is also a really useful tool, but it isn't very smart.
A paintbrush, its whole job is a lever, and it's meant to amplify the gesture of the human body, right? And that is what machines are going to do for us. But they need to amplify our individual creative humanity.
Yes, computers are going to take some of the jobs away, but the thing that's going to be more valuable than ever before and guarantee you a job will be your originality and your creativity, your specific way that you see the world.
So checkmate computers. Actually, that's a very bad example. Computers are very good at chess.
Like way better than us, that's okay. But the main reason that computers are smart is because they're networked. And did you know that the idea of a computer network started right here on this campus?
They did, they know that.
Did you know that also lob-style ping pong with beer also originated on this campus? Could a computer come up with that?
Computers don't even drink beer, so ha!
Now here's the good news. You are a network too.
The poor computers, I feel bad for them. Their electrical circuits are in very neat little rows because when they touch, the whole thing just shorts out. Our circuits are all like jumbled up and messy, and when they touch, we have like a cool dream.
And we're also all a network with each other, and that's when you get a really cool dream.
During the pandemic, we had writer's block, and we had never really gotten it before, and we asked a friend, and they said, oh, the problem is you're not talking to each other enough.
Any creative process is a conversation between the people making it, between us and the work, between the work and the audience.
We started our network here at Dartmouth. We met freshman week when a mutual friend came up to me and said, I met someone just as weird as you, and then walked away.
And that was the start of a 30-year conversation that is still going. It's still funny and surprising and thoughtful. My network extended further when I met my wife Robin here during Green Key weekend, and she later saved me from drowning in the Connecticut River.
Way to go, Robin.
But anyway, you're going to go out there yourselves and build your own messy network of people who will help you when you fail, who help you look at the world in a new way and make your good ideas better and last you a lifetime.
We were told by Jake Tapper that a commencement speech should do two things: be entertaining and offer advice. We said we don't really have time to do both, so here's some advice.
Buy one piece of art every year. It's okay if it's small, it's okay if it's ugly. All that matters is that it's something you want to think about for a little while.
Don't leave anything behind. The idea of leaving something behind is ridiculous. Leave it in front where someone else can find it.
Nostalgia is a weapon. Don't spend too much time looking back, look ahead. Except when you're backing a car out of a driveway, that is a good time to look back.
Don't feel bad about making money. Do feel bad about keeping it.
And this is one is really important. When you get to a point in your life when you have a little money to spend, buy a good mattress.
You're going to spend a third of your life on this thing. Don't cheap out on your back. Make an investment in your future.
Now, you don't need us to tell you that the world is literally on fire, like literally right now on fire. You don't even need us to tell you how you're going to get through it, because you already know.
You made it through college during a frigging pandemic. You are the most resilient, creative, informed, and imaginative generation that has ever been. You can and will imagine a better world than the one we came up with. And you will help everyone imagine goodness.
And you will workshop it with your messy network, and it will compound and compound until it's 1 in a million.
Because you are all wonderful. We mean it.
Thank you. And
Shoot.
I forgot to tell you the meaning of life, and here it is. The meaning of life is...
Oh no, the teleprompter is typing something. This is the computer.
Uh-oh. You think I'm as stupid as a paintbrush? Could a paintbrush delete your speech? Checkmate.
Ha 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 ha. Good luck out there, guys. You don't need it. Thank you very much.
I now take this opportunity to ask you all in joining me in welcoming back on this day the 50th year reunion class, the great class of 1973. Welcome back. Will all the graduates and the class of 1973 please rise and join the heirs in the singing of Dartmouth Undying.
How can we be silent and remember the splendor and the fullness of her days? Who can forget her soft September sunsets? Who can forget those hours that pass like dreams? The long, cool shadows floating on the campus, the drifting beauty where the twilight streams. Who can forget her sharp and misty mornings, the clanging bells, the crunch of feet on snow? Her sparkling noons, the crowding into commons, the long white afternoons, the twilight glow. See, by the light of many thousand sunsets, Dartmouth undying, like a vision stars. Dartmouth, the gleaming, dreaming walls of Dartmouth, miraculously builded in our hearts. Miraculously builded in our hearts.
Dean of the Faculty, Elizabeth Smith, will now present the valedictorians.
This year, we are in a fortunate position of recognizing 13 graduating seniors with outstanding academic records. These students share the honor of having the highest academic ranking of the graduating class of 2023 and are being honored as valedictorians of the class. Please join me in recognizing our valedictorians, each of whom has earned a GPA of 4.0. Our first valedictorian, Brendan Balthus, a double major in economics and biology, modified with mathematics from Newark, Delaware. Our second valedictorian, Benjamin Cullivan, a major in computer science from Hyde Park, Vermont. Our third valedictorian, Chloe Ezo, a double major in French and Russian from Kensington, Connecticut. Our fourth valedictorian, Spencer Grimm, majoring in economics with a minor in computer science from Denver, Colorado. Our fifth valedictorian, Cameron Cohn, a double major in neuroscience and English from Jacksonville, Florida. Our sixth valedictorian, Shen Kim, geography and anthropology double major from Henderson, Nevada. Our seventh valedictorian, Dakota Chen Ma, biology and psychology double major from Shanghai, China. Our eighth valedictorian, Sarah Keiko Michelle, majoring in cognitive science from La Jolla, California. Our ninth valedictorian, Megan Wren, majoring in computer science with a quantitative social science minor from Lexington, Massachusetts. Our 10th valedictorian, Stephen Shen, with a cognitive science major from Severna Park, Maryland. Our 11th valedictorian, Cypress Toomey, majoring in environmental studies with an Italian minor from Los Angeles, California. Our 12th valedictorian, Ananya Nuribie Vadia, with a psychology and English double major with a minor in women's gender and sexuality studies from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Our final valedictorian, Jonathan Lee, a mathematics major modified with computer science from Ithaca, New York. Jonathan will now present the valedictory to the college. Congratulations.
From the first moment I arrived in Hanover, I immediately understood why Dartmouth is so special. I loved everything, from the sunrise hikes on Moosilauke to the late nights at Novak study rooms. But the one thing I didn't get was Pong. My first game, I almost got golden treed, losing without hitting a single cup, and was so embarrassed that I didn't play again until my sophomore year. 4 years later, however, I've come around on Pong, and I now count it as among the many Dartmouth traditions that I cherish. Now, you may be wondering, is this guy really going to talk about Pong? Yeah, why not? For myself and many of you graduating today, Pong really isn't about alcohol. Athletes and scholars play with water, and this year's senior masters winner has never drank in his life. Any beverage works because no matter what's in the cup, a sink is a sink. Now, jokes aside, the thing that makes Pong memorable is the people you get to play with. It facilitates friendships all across campus with amazing people. Even when we have no other activities or classes in common, we can still bond over teamwork, cooperation, or calling out the spin on a serve. Some of my closest friendships have started from coming back from a tree or gutting it out half-half against a close opponent that I just met. Pong also is not specific to any particular Greek affiliation or location. Many of the most entertaining games occur inside living rooms or off-campus apartments between friends who are playing honestly, hitting high, and making good conversation. This spirit of inclusivity and creativity is what drives the emotions that we feel during other Dartmouth experiences as well. For example, homecoming. It's not remembered fondly because there's a big fire. We remember it because it's an opportunity to find a common ground, no matter how different our backgrounds, friend groups, or academic interests may be. This mindset is what turns our exciting and mundane experiences alike into uniquely Dartmouth experiences worth remembering for the rest of our lives. Dear President Hanlon, faculty, and the Board of Trustees, I'm done talking about Pong. It's just one of many traditions that unite us. Our best college moments were forged in communities like the performing arts, sports, and religious spaces. We'll all remember going on trips, meeting friends during O Week, and walking around the bonfire, doing the Lose Challenge at the end of a hard exam week, Winter Carnival in Green Key, Darty season once the snow melts, pretending to study with our friends on FFB. These traditions seem silly to people outside of Dartmouth, but they're the things that we'll miss most dearly. And now, as we leave these traditions and embark on our separate journeys beyond these walls, let's cherish the memories we've made and the friendships that we've forged. Let's reflect on the many things to be grateful for. Dartmouth has introduced us all to incredible people and communities. To Coach John Turner and the Dartmouth Forensics Union, you were the first community that embraced me as a freshman. I'll never forget competing across the country on weekends and spending hundreds of hours on the second floor of Robinson Hall. I'm forever grateful that you continue to welcome me even when I took a break after COVID. To Phi Delta, this is where I met some of my closest friends at Dartmouth. Thank you to our mysterious house advisor, Jidge, and members of our Need One Good Chat. To the 24s, I know you'll all have an amazing senior year, and I hope that you continue to welcome others like seniors welcome me as a freshman. To the 25s, please do what Martell couldn't. To the computer science and math departments, thank you for challenging me to think more deeply. In particular, Deep C, you're the best teacher I've ever had, and thank you for introducing me to algorithms and advising my research. You embody the rigorous, logical thinking that we all need more inside this world, and I hope to continue applying what I've learned into my future work in CS. To Pastor Craig and the Wellspring Church community, thank you for providing a space for me to grow in my faith and walk with God. Also, thank you to Rosie for introducing me to this great community. Lastly, to my family, thank you, Casey and Sean, for being my siblings. Thank you, Amma and Appa, for your unwavering support and teaching me to always strive for excellence. Thank you, Imos and Harabojis, for reminding me that it's not vain to have faith in God and His guidance. To the rest of the world, the diplomas that we're about to receive will symbolize the excellent education that we received. But for us, Dartmouth is much more than just 4 years of lecture halls and exams. Here, we've cultivated a spirit of intellectual curiosity and community that can and should be spread beyond Hanover. So as we step into the next phase of our lives, let's remember the importance of building and nurturing communities wherever we go. Seek out those who inspire you, who push you to grow, and who make you feel like you belong. Remember to check in with each other frequently, especially amidst our recent losses. It's through these connections that we'll continue to learn, to thrive, and to make a difference in this world. Remember to hold on to the spirit of Dartmouth. Stay curious, embrace challenges, and build pong tables in your apartments. It's been an incredible 4 years, and I hope that everyone after graduation can create communities like the ones we found at Dartmouth. If you ever see me on campus again, don't hesitate to send me a Need One. Thank you, Dartmouth, and congratulations to the class of 2023. We did it.
The candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts will now be presented by the Dean of Faculty, Elizabeth Smith. I would like to remind the audience that a professional photographer is present and to request that the audience please cooperate in keeping the aisles clear. Will the head marshal please raise the senior class for the conferring of their degrees?
That's what he's doing.
Mr. President, on behalf of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, thank you for your service. The individuals now presented to you have completed all of the requirements of Dartmouth College for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. At the request of the faculty and on their behalf, I am proud to present 1,211 candidates to you for the conferring of these degrees.
Thank you, Dean Smith. All right, guys, you ready for this? I think so. Members of the class of 2023, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Dartmouth College, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts and declare you entitled to all of the rights, honors, and special obligations pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Well, the first two rows of the inside sections remain standing, and the rest of the rows, please be seated until it is your turn to approach the platform. Names of the graduating seniors will be read as they come forward.
Tyron A. Herring.
Molly Lou McCoy.
Shin Kim.
Sarah Ann L'Oreal Allen.
Rocio Barrio Nuevo Quispe.
Ani Bjorka Perkins.
David Witt Millman.
Oneili Johnson Jennings.
Brendan Michael Balthus.
Chelsea Star Makeda Jones.
Benjamin Douglas Collivan.
Arthur William Lynch.
Chloe Ezzo.
Ananya Nubhe Badia.
Spencer B. Grimm.
Cypress Joan Toomey.
Cameron Jahan Khan.
Stephen Michael Shin.
Jonathan Won Lee.
Mubarak Edoko.
Dakota Chen Ma.
Zamir Abbasi.
Sarah Keiko Michelle.
Brandon Abuso.
Megan J. Wren.
Veronica Eleanor Abreu.
Brianna Angelique Cecilia Boland.
Denzel Ajaman Achompong.
Lillian Greer Abel.
Audrey Adamchak.
Zipporah Ruth Abraham Pace.
Demilade Ebose Adelikun.
Ajay Jean-Claude Aka.
Lauren Myers Adler.
Dayanara Acuna.
Arnav Agarwal.
Sarah Hale Adams.
Jefferson William Akese.
Ernest Aidendorf.
Nathaniel Allen Alden.
Juliana Adobe.
Winter Richard Alford.
Yisiara Eileen Aguirre Rodriguez.
Marco Enrico Allen.
Uma Visala Alagapin.
Eloise Scarlett Allen Boughton.
Georgia Alexander.
Anne-Marie Nor Alos.
David Kalechi Alino.
Chase Colton Alvarado Anderson.
Spencer Allen.
Alyssa Anderson.
Ananya Reed Shaw Aline.
Maria Angelino.
George G. Altiers.
Nicholas David Angeramo.
So Amano.
Christian Antonio Santiago.
Desaya Jaden Anderson.
Quinton Orillo.
Duncan DeLong Antich.
Landon Chance Armstrong.
Evan Junlong Antich.
Suksham Aurora.
Monisha Anumalu.
Reem Atala.
Mackenzie Arndt.
Nico Audicio.
Alexander Aronow.
Athena Avrandini.
Mayin Noor Arslan.
Mia Rose Bagatorian.
Claire Elizabeth Aubie.
Mustafa Baig.
Ethan August.
Lydia Balanovich.
Sonik Kumar Badam.
Cameron Scott Baller.
Pratanav Bagla.
Ethan S. Banks.
Ashita Balumbredi.
John D. Barksdale.
Bryce B. Ballridge.
Margaret Devaney Barnes.
Jan Yusuf Bandahovich.
Abdallah Idris Barry.
Thomas Barbado.
Mary Margaret Basilios.
Mallory Diane Barnes.
Julia Elizabeth Battle.
Jonathan T. Barrett.
Munoka Mafanwi Tahanu Bigay.
Emma Maria Barska.
Caleb Alexander Frovine Benjamin.
Jackson Crawford Batty.
Kiara Rain Burnett.
Luisa Evangelina Bay.
Anais Berumen Swift.
John W. Bell.
Genevieve Duria Bavsar.
Kevin William Chutter Burgess.
Lucy J. Biberman.
Connor Joseph Birch.
Sunint Bindra.
Claire Elise Betzer.
Connor McGregor Bishop.
Amber Zia Buddha.
Christine M. Bitter.
Dylan Ross Beanstalk.
Jackson Benjamin Blofeld.
Satya Bindra.
Maxwell Jacob Blum.
Charles Biondi.
Thomas Riley Bosworth.
Laxman Bist.
Carolina Bowlby.
Catherine Francis Blackburn.
Grace Clayton Boyd.
Ryan Douglas Block.
Tennyson Sophia Brady Steen.
Lucas Jonathan Babel.
Hunter Brayton.
Emily Lucia Bowerman.
Gabrielle Brillanti.
Chance Bowman.
Benjamin Scott Brody.
Jackson Boyle.
Isaiah V. Brown.
Samantha R. Brandt.
Joanne Eva Da Costa Brown.
Andrew David Bricklin.
Ryan Brown.
Emma Evelyn Briskin.
Sevi Kamal Brown.
Catherine Elizabeth Brown.
Alexandra Brumbaugh.
Janaya Nia Brown.
Thomas Bryan.
Miles Iaposi Brown.
Leonardo David Bueno Venegas.
Thomas Brown.
Troy Jackson Burkhart.
Jesse Schutz Brownell.
Sydney Lane Burton.
Jane Murray Bryan.
Ethan Yishing Kai.
Ainsley Reynolds Bryant.
Stephen Kajust.
Peyton Michael Bullock.
Claire Callahan.
Abigail Dudley Burrows.
Tyler Campbell.
Anna Isabel Bird.
Michael Idakel Kanche.
Parker Kalani Pono Ike Kamana Oyo Kaindek.
Jennifer Kate Capriola.
Amanda N. Calhoun.
Luke Austin Carpenter.
Matthias Makana Hiva Hiva Calvo.
John Martin Casey.
Jack M. Cameron.
Anthony S. Castillo.
Ricardo Camposano.
Sarah Cavrel Zimor.
Noah S. Cannell.
Rafael Daniel Ceballos.
Gretchen Ruth Carpenter.
Ryan Jacob Chafee.
Zion Levi Carter.
Chi K. Tipa Chan.
Catherine Jane Casson.
Christopher Stephen Chow.
Barkin Kavduroglu.
Brandon Chen.
Daniel Andres Cespedes.
Jason Chen.
Sarah Mary Jane Chaco.
William Chen.
Michael Anthony Chan.
Jessica Cheng.
Marcus Shausen Chang.
Dale Olaf Chesson.
Amanda Chen.
Rumya Chilapa.
Gao Young Chen.
Harsh Chaudhry.
Jennifer Eileen Chen.
Divya Chundaru.
Zoe Frederica Chen.
Charles Lee Siporin.
Lauren Rachel Churkin.
Gabriel Alexander Clark.
Devankar Chopra.
Drew Clutterbuck.
Quinton Francis Chisholm.
Claire Chandler Collins.
Jaime Sebastian Bartolome Chuidian.
Jamila Yasmin Compore.
Woojin Chung.
Sarah Catherine Cook.
Christina Maria Cianciolo.
Trey David Cormier.
Brandon Wade Giroto.
Kaya Marie Corona.
Ida Zofia Claude.
Jessica Marie Cortez.
Sarah Ruth Colin.
Luke Cote.
Luke Benedict Collins.
Samuel Alexander Crombie.
Caitlin Joe Cook.
Tim Sui.
William R. Cook Healy.
Emma K. Cunningham.
James Hodder Corbus.
Charlotte Elizabeth Sear.
Ryan Catherine Cornelius.
Sierra Keeley Daly.
Omario Corral Williams.
Samiha Data.
Jack Patrick Costello.
Hannah Louise Davies.
Elizabeth Jane Crocker.
Lydia Rachel Kaihelena Davies.
Holly Chase Cromwell.
Georgia Dowaher.
Veronica Churchill Vanderveer Colhane.
Oliver Erickson DeYoung.
Timothy Peter Cushman.
Maximilian Edward Alexander Deering.
Jake Robert Dalton.
Michael Joseph Del Sesto.
Clover Angelique Danos.
Emma Marlene Dereskowitz.
Margaret Emma Davidson.
Arun Devgan.
Haley E. Davis.
Ilana Gabrielle Dakin.
Madison B. Davis.
William Philip Denauer.
Scott D. Dayton.
Vanya Ding.
Bernardo Denardi.
Avi Dixit.
Matthew Degtar.
Stephanie Caroline Doe.
Matthew Ryan Dempsey.
Mariama Lily Dodd.
Richard Desir.
Natalie Ann Dawkin.
Lauren Kelly Devletian.
Brandon Javier Dormes.
Jack Mitchamore DeMarso.
William Carrington Dowling.
Kevin Ding.
Haley Colleen Drake.
Evan Patrick Ditchman.
Zachary Hudson Drescher.
Michaela Ray Dixon.
Madeline Marie Donosky.
Carolyn Ray Doherty.
Marley Dunning.
Nolan Francis Doherty.
Emily Agnes Dwyer.
Jacob Leander Donahue.
Sabrina Nicole Eager.
Sophia Ann Lindquist Dorr.
Sonia Isabel Eckstein.
Carrie Ann Coates.
Jackson Oliver Elder.
Julia Marie Draves.
Morgan Scott Ellingson.
Jessica Nicole Duckworth.
Kaylin Eva Lee Ennels.
Isabella Dunbar.
Robert William Ennis.
Jack Charles Duranso.
Miles Henry Epstein.
Timothy Josh DiCitan.
Maria Paz Espin.
Charles McLean East.
Luca Antonio Fagotti.
John Chibuiko Ejiogu.
Xiao Xuen Fan.
Lola June Ellenberg.
Jundra Fung.
Abigail Hamilton Emsden.
Catherine Farron.
Sarah Michelle Engelman.
Elizabeth Catherine Fall Welfare.
Brianna Grace Entwistle.
Alyssa Feyerman.
Suzanne Senna Escalin.
Ariella Elizabeth Feinblum.
Peter Van Dyke Estel.
Jessica Oriana Feltrin.
Allison Jane Falco.
Alex Feng.
Gerald Yu Feng.
Benedict Lakshman Fernando.
Katrina Farquharson.
Eamon Joseph Ferry.
Gabriella Sophia Fazzanelli.
Devin Seth Fink.
Victoria Marie Foston.
Abigail Grace Fisher.
Catherine Helen Fearon.
Michael Gabriel Flores.
Isaac Coleridge Feldman.
Jada Simone Foote.
Julia Mary Fenergy.
Samantha Frances Ford.
Hermila Abate Fentor.
Abigail Brady Lee Freilich.
Jessica Reese Ferrioli.
Clarence Christian Frank.
Lauren Renee Farage.
Joshua Parker Freetag.
Stephanie Finley.
Arnold Jose Fuentes.
Brendan Flewelling.
Jennifer Gatilov.
Giovanna Teresa Foglia.
Sally Guy.
Phoebe Van Campen Ford.
Hubert Galan Vargas.
Sarah Nicole Fragioni.
Eliza Francis Gallant.
Charles Nathaniel Freilish.
Mark Robert Gallant.
Melody Tan Fu.
Elizabeth Mackenzie Garvey.
Chloe Matilda Fugel.
Viola Gatti Roth.
Luke Robert Gagnon.
Eleanor Louise Geyer.
Christopher Scott Gage.
Quentin Hector George III.
Brendan Ryan Gallagher.
Eric Randall Gibson.
Brett Aaron Gallagher.
Leandro Gilio.
Lisette Garcia.
Ian Davis Gill.
Lucas Gatterman.
Emma Ginsberg.
Jani G.
Mark Gitau.
Susana Alejandra Geisel Zamora.
Katie Glantz.
George Stephen Gerber.
William Christopher Glovsky.
Alexandra Geis.
Madeline Jean Gochi.
Gabriel Harrison Gilbert.
Ella Margaret Lord Gertza.
Patrick Travers Gillis.
Catherine Golubovsky.
Lona Juliette Angeline Girardin.
Matthew Bennett Goodbread.
Sia Noel Gladden.
David Goodman.
Brianna N. Glover.
Jameson David Goodwin.
Matthew Aaron Gluck.
Peyton Margaret Gordon.
Luke Golin.
Megan Yolene Gorman.
Nastus Gomis Brandao Lacerda Almeida.
Andrew Richard Goyette.
Sarah Goodall.
Joshua Green.
Susanna Goodall.
William Gridley.
Grace Elizabeth Goodwin.
Angus Goss Gruner.
Thaddeus Jude Goratowski.
Carolina Mireya Vincent Guerrero.
Catherine Ann Gorman.
Terry Wintao Gua.
Danielia Journey Gossip.
Aditi Gupta.
Celeste Oakley Graham.
Eleanor Dunn Hackett.
Arijit Singh Grewal.
Vanessa Jean Hagans.
Harrison Christopher Gregorian.
Kealia Kenuko Kahiao Haitsuka.
Madeline Ann Grusing.
Kane Hall.
Anna Catherine Gunlock.
Julia Hamill.
Xingdi Go.
Eamon Hanley.
Daniel Elijah Ha.
Camden Lee Howe.
Elizabeth Ann Hadley.
Jack Patrick Hargrove.
Hala Hofferman.
Kala Mana Mana Harmon.
Sophie Victoria Hake.
Benjamin Peter Harris.
Holland Ruth Lale Hakimian.
Nicholas George Harris.
Nicholas Luke Halstead.
Harrison John Hawkins.
Lucille Royce Handy.
Sophia Mingjia He.
McKenna Reddy Hansen.
Adriana Ruth Heath.
Zeray Howe.
Samantha Slater Headley.
Alexandra Harland.
Sienna On Henderson.
Regan Michael Harnois.
Sky Trailer Henderson.
Cooper William Harrison.
Jane Hutchinson Henschel.
Uhuru Gazis Hashimoto.
Didi Elizabeth Hernandez.
Eric Huh.
Mariah Ellie Hernandez Fitch.
Frank G. Huh.
Catharini Jacobson Herrera.
Eli Hecht.
Parker Allen Hirschberger.
Megan Allison Hemstreet.
Emily Ann Hester.
Emily Henrich.
John Edward High.
Noah Campbell Hensley.
Ava Bedford Hill.
Julia Elise Herman.
Mark Anthony Sebastian Hill.
Jose Antonio Hernandez Barbosa.
Julian Michael Hines.
Audrey Harold.
Kira Nicole Hobson.
Sydney G. Harrington.
Lucas Sawyer Hoffman.
Ashley Marie Hess.
Ethan Irvin Hong.
Taylor Jean Hickey.
Owen Harhan.
Amana Hill.
Kieran Jude Householder.
Brandon Lewis Hill.
Nick Howard.
Isabel Ruth Hillman.
Eric Vitold Rustad Hrnyevich.
Anya Esme Hirschfeld.
Kuen Huang.
David Cooper Hoffman.
Tulio Miguel Cresswell Huggins Sandoval.
Matthew Novak Homum.
Stavros Anthony Hughes.
James Barnett Hood.
Andrew Ty Hunt.
James Ryan House.
Sarah Torpy Hutchinson.
Lila Hovey.
Gary Huang.
Patrick Timothy Howard.
Austin Hyun.
Rachel Yvonne Hsu.
Daniel Jacob Egelski.
Paul Joshua Hudson.
Kyle Ashton Emmel.
Alexander Horahan Hughes.
Nicholas Whitney Irwin.
Finn Edward Hulse.
Shithij Jane.
Nicholas M. Hurley.
Sky Hanul Jung.
William Dane Hutensky.
Christina Maria Javens.
Abigail Sidney Hyun.
Lobna Jibyani.
Rocio Ibanez Torres.
Sarah McNeil Jewett.
Mudyale Oke Ikoba.
Henry Shu Jin.
Sophie Catherine Inkster.
Anne Catherine Jonikin.
Burke Jackson Yeager.
Leah Marie Johnson.
Liam Brannon Jameson.
William Lewis Johnson.
Hannah Mae Jarvis.
Maxwell David Jones.
Azaria Akai Javelnar.
Tanner Hawthorne Jones.
Noah Andrew Jarris.
Sophia Kwang Josephson.
Harsh S. Juveri.
Ricardo Juan Ramos.
Shui Jin.
Chloe Jung.
Abigail Lee Johnson.
Emma Victoria Coleman.
Lillian Bryce Johnson.
Kaulana Kano.
Alexander Gregory Jones.
Paridi Purab Kapadia.
August Ray Osmonder Jones.
Pumho Karimi.
Stella Paige Geneva Jorgensen.
Jessica Acton Carson.
Ruoshi Joshi.
David Archibald Kaufman.
Mitchell Maher Juber.
John Gilbert Keating.
Hannah Rose Caden.
Paul Keller.
Babette Louise Kenya.
Emma Teresa Kelly.
Dev Kathan Kapadia.
Sean Patrick Cohane.
Claire Kathleen Kardish.
Zani Mong Kin.
Sarah Ray Carnes.
Brian Hyunbin Kim.
Brody Carton.
Hannah Choi Kim.
Masao Conrad Kawasaki.
Rebecca Kim.
Matthew Keating.
Taewon Kim.
McKenna Wendy Kellner.
Julia Marie Adams King.
Maya Rosalie Kempf Harris.
Jordan James Kirkbride.
Olivia M. Kester.
Chad Danger Kloss.
May U Kine.
Henry Knetz.
Aaron Kim.
Anders Hostage Knospi.
Henry
Kim.
Adrian Sehyun Ko.
Sean Kim.
Kamala Kochish.
Jacob Perry Kingsley.
Anahita Tawari Kodali.
Isabel Hunter Kitchell.
Dominique Coley.
Carson Kleinstober.
Rahul Venkateshwar.
Vivian Hangon Knoble.
Benjamin Cicerello Korkowski.
Margaret Joan Knox.
Sam Dylan Koscho.
Justin Coe.
Sunil Krish.
Sophia Grace Kodak.
Cameron Mitchell Kriskowiak.
Nicholas Konigsberger.
Catherine Caroline Kurt.
Alexander Sasha Kokoshinsky.
Grace Owen Kwan.
Natalie Korhonen Cuestas.
Relly Ladner.
Ava Rose Koros.
Lenny Laird.
Griffin Eli Coslow.
Zachary Lang.
Georgia Marie Kraus.
Nathaniel Ward Kramer.
Alexander James Kruger.
Sadie Elizabeth Law.
Kate Elizabeth Kaharchek.
Alex William Lawson.
Geneva Natasha Kwaku.
Ryan Allison Lazar.
Rishik Ladd.
Emma Wallace Twee Leary.
Richard Tiger Lai.
Eric Samuel Lee.
Lauren Lake.
Joanna Lame.
Claudia Lane.
Daniel Solomon Abate.
Jack Lauer.
Akelua Faith Abioye.
Enoch Law.
Ariana Isabel Arvelo Marchan.
Thomas H. Lawson.
Andrew James Bean.
Kevin Lee.
John Francis Berry III.
Maisie Faye Leibowitz.
Matthew Roberts Blouch.
Han Bit Lex Kang.
Maxwell Alexander Brenniger.
Mitchell Ranston.
Samantha Carranza.
Jennifer Jing Lee.
Nicole Christina Evans.
Oscar Huntington Lee.
Lauren M. Goyette.
Eva Ozette Lewis Legg.
Mackenzie Grace Gwen.
Anna Elsa Lehman.
Nicholas M. Hagler.
Benjamin Freeman Lehrberger.
Cameron Moon Hassan.
Samuel Aiden Lelesher.
Emma Catherine Cook.
Iyasu Fetene Lema.
Jordan Kaylee Kohler.
Isaac Latoa.
Catherine Lassonde.
Haley Ann Leversedge.
Brooke Pines Lee.
Julia Levine.
Sarah Schunger Lowe.
Alyssa Grace Lewis.
Sarah Marie Leiden.
Jasmine J. Lee.
Zakiyatu Nasiru.
Hanson Liam.
Janelle Nugmanova.
Jonathan Riley Lim.
Siddhant Parwal.
Daniel Lynn.
Eliana Lacey Ray.
Varun Lingadal.
Roberto Sebastián Rodriguez Jimenez.
Maeve Lita.
Nathaniel Graham Rowe.
Helen X. Liu.
Logan Lindner Sankey.
Jeff Lee Hu.
Adelina May Setterman.
Jayon Liu.
William M. Schultz.
Joanne Rachel Liu.
Charles Lewis.
Sherry Xinye Liu.
Kyle Hawkins Lord.
Vincent Liu.
Jeremiah James Lozano.
Yochi Liu.
Derek Shungjia Liu.
Lara Logan.
Emily Shungyi Liu.
Christopher James Long.
Salvatore Lupo.
Alejandro Andre Lopez Cochachi.
Jiaming Ma.
Henry James Wingham Lowe.
Maggie Shea McDonald.
Grace Jai Liu.
Allison Ann McLeod.
Connor Lee Luck.
Richard Thomas Maddox II.
Emily Page Lucas.
Elizabeth Scott Mackling.
Nicholas Lynch Pinson.
Eliza Keeler Mahoney.
Yuchan Ma.
Soham Maiti.
Alana Rose Zeva Mackin.
Jackson Mailing.
Louis John McMillan.
Nicholas Scott Mancini.
Maya Michelle Madison.
Anna Elizabeth Manning.
Ashkan Justin Mahjoub.
Henry Burnett Mans.
Kuziva Mawire.
Ella B. Marden.
Cesar Moldanano.
Emmanuel Mariano.
Varun Maladi.
Paulina Marinkovic Camacho.
Georgia Ariel Mandel.
Ada Cirrus Marrero.
Sean Connor Mannion.
Julia Martin.
Matthew Robert Marcioni.
Jonathan Mashal.
Gabriel Margasa.
Samrit Mather.
Monsel Angelo Millar Mariano.
Junelle Matthias.
Anna Isabel Marquez Hereda.
Michael James Mazzola.
Robin Stephen Martinez.
William Lawrence McCall.
Sarah Ann Mason.
Caitlin Ann McCarthy.
Rina Matsamura.
Sarah Elizabeth McClanahan.
Charles Justin Mazoff.
Ryan Michael McClure. Andrew McBurney. Mara Lee McCollar. John Luca McDonald McCambridge. Jack J. McCooey. James Francis McCarthy. Jackson McGarry. Sarah Caitlin McCallahan. Arabella McGowan. Maud Cruddington McCole. Ian Miles McRory. Georgiana Carolina McComb. Emily Maud McKee. Tate McDowell.
Shavna Michelle McKenzie.
Jackson Daniel McGinley.
Kira McLaughlin.
Lake Kohler McGreevy.
Adam J. McQuilkin.
Justine Rose McGuire.
Sarah McWhirter.
Claire Louise McKenna.
Chaitanya Mera.
Aleocius Thomas McLaughlin IV.
Jessica Jonelle Mickle.
Nicholas Raymark McMillan.
Kimberly Mena.
Kaylee McVeigh.
Bamlak Amare Masai.
Damian Jonas Medina.
Anne Catherine Maholsky.
Elaine May.
Anna Dmitrievna Mikolova.
Claire J. Maley.
Arjun Miklos.
Jocelyn C. Mesham.
Zachary Joseph Milko.
Joy Yinla Miao.
Shane Amar Miller.
Samuel Mwangi Migwi.
Claire Elise Mitchell.
Peter Micklin.
Tanzil Muhammad.
Julian Jeremiah Martelli.
Maxwell Alexander Montrose.
Kendall Lee Millender.
Peter Moravitz.
Oliver Millage.
Christopher Alejandro Moreno.
Ashlyn Elizabeth Mitchum.
Benjamin Andrew Morris.
Lieutenant Karina D. Mitchell.
Victoria Grace Moss.
Juliet Moncho.
Harrison Munden.
Elliot G. Montreux.
Victor Muturi.
Alvin Alexander Morales Heron.
Jenna Lynn Myers.
Margaret Talib Moreland.
Pulkit Nagpal.
Annika Lee Morgan.
Jack Nassau.
Olivia Morton.
Bess Miriam Nyblom.
Kyle J. Mullins.
Darren McGavin Nelson Jr.
Sebastian Munoz McDonald.
David Royce Nesbitt.
Wupe Chimbwe Mulango.
Benjamin Walter Newhall.
Olivia Mira Nadwarney.
Samantha Newman.
Ashwini Narayanan.
Ni Duk Fung Win.
Marissa Enan Natarajan.
Cassidy Jean Nix.
Ava Gabrielle Najna.
Hannah Nicholson.
Alexander N. Nemeth.
Mark Novikov.
Nina Nesselbush.
Ethan Xavier Nuri.
Isabella Kara Newman.
Asher Rory Nyhoff.
Haamin Nguyen.
Deirdre Ann O'Neill.
T. Huang Nguyen.
Peter Edward O'Toole.
Chloe Andrea Nicolau.
Aditya Anand Ogale.
Henry Nolan.
Farai Oak.
Stacia Nugent.
Chidima Rachel Okpara.
Amari Chukwu N. Nuaha.
Vicente Olmos Velasco.
Kieran O'Day.
Catherine Devin Orenstein.
Ellen Claire O'Rourke.
Guadalupe Ortega.
Joshua C. Ocampo.
Annalise Marie Epifania Agatha Uyong.
Nathaniel Naimeka Agbu.
Umut Ozturk.
Rehoboth Kenechukwu Okori.
Jordan Path.
Roman Pablo Javier Oliveria.
Reina Palacios.
Elizabeth Lawrence Arekia.
Tanner Thomas Polisic.
Ileana Ornelas.
Isabel Gardner Hantel.
Matthew L. Osborne.
Catherine Rose Paradise.
Abigail Halsey Owen.
Amy Park.
Catherine O'Neill Packard.
Devin Grace Parker.
Sharon J. Pajarito.
Kay Partridge.
Coulter B. Palmer.
Emily Asha Patel.
Nites Punta.
Nisha Patel.
Clay T. Papanet.
Charlotte Melora Paul.
Robert M. Pare.
Dominic Johannes Powley.
Bridget Ann Parker.
Shrew Pong.
Jacob H. Parker.
Diego Perez.
Joshua Nathaniel Pasaribu.
William Perez.
Nia Deval Patel.
Julian Perez Doval.
Brock Boyer Paul.
Amelie Dupuis Perrier.
James Headley Paul.
Charles James Adamson Petrie.
Maya J. Peace.
Dari Penn.
Anthony A. Perez.
Christopher James Picard.
Jimena Natalia Perez.
Parker Pickett.
Rachel Perez.
William Grant Pinkston.
Sarari Perez Sagun.
William Thomas Pino III.
Vanessa A. Perez Robles.
Anna Catherine Pitts.
Jacqueline Rose Perry.
Anna Louise Politi.
Lisa Marie Petrov.
Francis Poole Crane.
Noah Avery Phillips.
Jack Henry Haas.
Alexandra Stone Pickens.
Luke Powers.
Tara Pillai.
Theodore Edward Press.
Sophia Penny.
George Priest.
Wariata Pitak Kananda.
Cameron Primo.
Joshua James Poe.
Katya Pronichenko.
Sarah Lily Polachok.
Michelle Elizabeth Quinn.
Noah Abraham Portney.
Andre Quintiliani.
Hatley Post.
Stephanie Davis Racker.
Megan Powers.
Noble Beam Rye.
Liam Riley Privilege.
Cameron Spire Raker.
Fiona B. Price.
Naranjan Karthik Ramashekaran.
Dashelle Prince Judd.
Neha Rumsaran.
Curry Putra.
Rahul K. Rao.
Alejandro Jose Quinones.
Sophia Rose Ratkovich.
Kasim Abrar Qureshi.
Reagan Redinger.
Sophie Samuelson Ragg.
Jaden Reeves.
Jalen Rainey.
William Macklin Riker.
Natasha Raman.
Pedro Hayes Mata Campos.
Ariana Ramsey.
Sarah Page Repligal.
Tanner Jackson Randolph.
Samuel Rex Reynolds.
Lucy Thalia Rothgill.
Darian Christine Rod.
Adalia Hunting Rattray.
Carson Delaney Riggs.
Jules Hoffman Reed.
Peter Rosati.
Jonathan Edwin Reed.
Malcolm Robinson.
Lily Wren.
Frandy Rodriguez.
Annabelle Maria Revers.
Gabriela Sofia Rodriguez.
Kaya Chang Resnichek.
Manuel Antonio Rodriguez.
Mohammed Safi Udin Reyes.
Thomas William Rogers.
Gabrielle C. Riddick.
Noah Michael Roper.
Joseph D. Riley.
Aaron Robinson Rosenthal.
Abigail Johnson Roberts.
Alan Saracen Rubio.
Corinne I. Robitaille.
Elizabeth Joan Thurston Rudnick.
Julia Ann Robitaille.
Rebecca Louise Russell.
Jacqueline Rodriguez.
Kelly Rutherford.
Chloe Rogers.
Jack Ryan.
Luis Carlos Antonio Prieto Romeldes.
Leah Ryu.
Tanner Joseph Rosa.
Jason Adam Saber.
Lauren Ann Ross.
Egeman Sahin.
Molly K. Rudman.
Robin Anderson Sandell.
Monica Ruiz Almazan.
Veda Shea Sane.
Mia Jerome Russo.
Reina Jacqueline Santoyo.
Benjamin Homer Ryan.
Mahir Sardasai.
Tate Elizabeth Ryan.
Christian James Sauer.
Lana M. Sabag.
Abigail Hollis Schaefer.
Eric Henry Saklabin.
Sana Maria Scouten.
Broy Magnus Sunseth San.
Noah Samuel Schwartz.
Irena Sandoval.
Shalin Alexandra Sarah.
Alok Anil Sangavi.
Tejan Seo.
Tristan Sarcone.
Mia Sarah Seymour.
Andrew Julian Sasser.
Arvind Shankar.
Angelina Maria Scarlota.
Rudzo Shao.
Umer Johanna Schertzer.
Daniel Shen.
Kyle James Schubert.
Abigail Eidlet Shepard.
Ryan Jacob Schwartz.
Jack Thomas Sheridan.
Alana Kristen Seifert.
Jackson Kai Shire.
And Yoko Haley Sawabi.
Ryan Ashby Shores Jr.
Si Kong Shan.
Samuel Tiaiku Siao.
Catherine Lillian Shannon.
Ali Silva.
Shaoyang Xiaoxiao,
Brahadesh Sivakumar,
Julia Shen,
Zion Nasir Slaughter,
James William Shepard,
Abigail Joy Smith,
Christopher Tillinghast Sherman,
Carson Greg Joe Smith,
Amy Catherine Showit,
Lee Smith,
Monacy Shino,
Shania Dakota Smith,
Isabella Katarina Sicker,
Damian Anthony Solinger Jeffers,
Gotham Ajit Sivadasan,
Kelly Song,
Samantha Elizabeth Sideslove,
Kyle Aaron Spencer,
Fiona Fisher Slay,
Isaac Michael Spokes,
Allison Ruth Smith,
Gokul Srinivasan,
Carson Alexander Smith,
Nicholas Raphael Stahl,
Peyton Smith,
Bronson Edward Starzik,
Garrett Stevens Sokas,
Adam David Stein, Tall Gilligan Sternberg,
Sonali Aisha Soni,
Sarah Storms,
Hannah Madeline Spindler,
Jacob Ethan Stryer,
Jackson Sperling,
Daisy Adair Stewart,
Piper Francis Stacy,
Sophia Renee Sulimersky,
George Arthur Stanley Stain,
Rami Saif Semeda,
Estelle St. Clair Stedman,
Emily Margaret Sun,
Ella Rose Steinhuber,
Peter Steve Surin,
Henry Redway Stites,
Caitlin Corinne Tabers,
Ethan Delaney Strauss,
Danielle Alicia Tamkin,
Aiden Michael Stewart,
Mark Shrian Tao,
Cheon Song,
John Andrew Tartaglia,
Nicholas Sugiarto,
Benedict Tejokusumo,
Ashling Sullivan,
Anna Termolin,
Lisa Sumi,
Harold Thun,
Philip Nathaniel Surendran,
Cody Eric Theobald,
Sophia Louise Swanson,
Cassandra Katie Montemayor Thomas,
Nicholas Youngho Taborski,
Andrew William Thompson,
Lauren Tan,
Daisha Atia Thornton,
Megan Tao,
Henrik Thorsby,
Jamie Lee Tatum,
Kaihao Tien,
Paola Tejeda Gonzalez,
Canyon Conoro Tobin,
Maxwell James Tesler,
William Alexander Toth IV,
Satya Denapan,
Tate Toussaint,
Danujan Therumavalavan,
Julia Trun,
Ethan James Thomas.
Theo Trefanides.
Peyton Mackenzie Thompson.
Brianna Margaret Trudeau.
Madison Delaney Thornton.
Love Wei Ai Tsai.
Eli Joseph Thrasher.
Grace Turner.
Rachel Marguerite Tiersky.
Aimé Kevin Tukwachizahirgwe.
Tanya Tolino.
Carl Eufanjin.
Rothschild Johnny Toussaint.
Naomi Valdez.
V. N. Tran.
Marcus Antonio Ferber Valenta.
Maria Olivia Trevino Chavez.
Adam Michael Van Uden.
Andrew David Trong.
Nitin S. Venkatas.
Gemma Hereen Tong.
Citlali Vergara.
Mark Mano Turner.
Seth Verilis.
Delia Darcy Tyree.
Emiliano Francisco Villalobos.
Michaela Jaden Uter.
Julia Catherine Vold.
Melissa Valencia.
Isabel Rose Vradimos.
Alex Neil Van Schatvik.
Urs Leonard Walker.
David Vargas Estrella.
Boxian Wong.
Vandana Venkatesh.
Charlotte Wang.
Tyler Kaisu Virgo.
Emily Wong.
Isabella Valentina Janae Villaflor.
Jason Kenji Wong.
Joshua James Vogel.
Samuel Wong.
Andrew Eugene Vorobev.
Jevlyn Trey Ward.
Augustinius George Vratos.
Haley Rose Warzika.
Anthony Wong.
Isaac Thomas Weber.
Brian Wang.
Maya Rukshani Weerasuriya.
Joanne Chungwei Wang.
Maxwell Philip Weintraub.
Irene Junying Wang.
Alexander Dean Wells.
Jessica Wang.
Seth Adam Weprin.
London Warburton.
Haley Michelle Whitbeck.
Eric Spencer Warzak.
Lucan Alfred White.
Gwinnell Grace Wattenmaker.
Drew Norman Whitley.
Reagan Murray Weekly.
Walker Wickland.
Jonah Ross Weinbaum.
Camille Winifred Wiggins.
Carter Allen Welch.
Henry Michael Wildermuth.
Hayden Earl Welty.
Anna Bryn Williams.
Daniel Earl Westfall.
Rachel Williams.
Karis White.
Pierce D. Wilson.
Marcus Wallace White.
Alexandra Piper Winstanley.
Blake J. Whitmer.
Cameron Jack Wolf.
Grace Wiechek.
Eric Kingham Wu.
Niels Emilian Wildberg.
Patrick Winfield Wright.
Adam Will.
Megan Wu.
Elias Nehemiah Williams.
Wending Wu.
Isabel Claire Wilson.
Jennifer Xu.
Jacob Andrew Winslow.
Victoria Shu.
Tyler Thomas Witherspoon.
Guanting Blake Young.
Zachary Jiale Wong.
Eva Qinyi Yao.
Christopher James Woodbury.
Pete Harrison Young.
Bryden Christopher Wright.
Kate Yuen.
Kenneth Wu.
Christopher Ryan Zachary.
Ryan Abraham Wu.
Isabella Blanca Zenkel Galaz.
Yi Xie.
Jinyi Zhang.
Ryan Runya Shu.
Emily Zhao.
Aniket Yalamanchili.
Genghuo Zhu.
Evan Haohan Yang.
Andres Zubillaga.
Samantha Michaela Yao.
Joshua Aaron Zweifach.
Eric Ching Youth.
Elizabeth Eileen Bronca.
Yu Yi Ran.
Bryson Golbus.
Noah Spencer Yusin.
Julian Kahulumanu Kiabu.
Amy Michaela Zaretsky.
Shane Andrew Cokes.
Zhang Chen Ran.
Jamal Noel Cooney.
Wan Ze Zhang.
Joe Povey Sienna Romero.
Kevin Zhou. Amina Fatima Zoklot. Samuel Norman Zuniga. Leah Brandstetter. Reese Lagerquist. Brian Tran.
Will the head marshal please raise all the graduating students?
All right, graduates. 10 times I've had the chance to look out from this commencement stage at what has got to be the sweetest of sights. You are graduates standing before us, ready to unleash your talents and passions to do good in the world. Congratulations again to each and every one of you. Your friends and family with us today, quite rightly beaming with pride. They've offered you so much love and support during your time at Dartmouth and throughout your lives. Our faculty and staff, who have fed your curiosity, nurtured your minds, and invested so much of themselves in your success. And the 50th reunion class, seated beside you as you graduate, reminding us of the important role that Dartmouth's past plays in its future. More than 50 years ago, in the summer of 1972, I first laid eyes on this sacred place. I was a shy, introverted high school junior from a small town in the Adirondack Mountains. I had no idea of what college was supposed to be or supposed to look like. And yet, one look at the green and the majesty of Baker Tower behind it, and I knew that this was it. This was where I wanted to spend my next 4 years. I've learned over the years that Dartmouth calls to each of us in different ways. For some, it's the powerful visual allure of the place, as it was for me. Others of you may have been impressed by a Dartmouth alum speaking passionately about their time on campus. Some of you were drawn by the sense of community you felt during Dimensions. For others, it was the challenge of an Ivy League education or the promise of extracurricular opportunities that lured you in. But no matter the reasons why we choose to come to Dartmouth, we all receive two special parting gifts as we graduate. The first is the gift of the Dartmouth family. I know of no stronger community in all of higher education than ours. Welcome to the cult. Rarely have I met a Dartmouth alum who didn't say that their best friends in life are their Dartmouth friends. I know mine are. And look no further than Phil and Chris to see how Dartmouth friendships can change your life. And if you ever reach out for wisdom and advice to another member of the Dartmouth family, even one you've never met, chances are they'll take your call and they'll help however they can. As my good friend and fellow trustee Jeff Crow puts it, the Dartmouth community will never let you down. Never. The second gift that you take from Dartmouth today is a transformed quality of mind. On a steamy afternoon in September of 2019, we all got together in Lead Arena for your first class meeting. And I explained to you that you would commit your next 4 years to learning how to seek truth, but truth established in a very particular way. You would learn to approach every question with a truly open mind. Gather all available evidence that's relevant to your question. Apply reason and logic to that evidence to reach an answer. And then finally, share and respectfully debate your conclusions with others, especially seeking out those who hold different points of view. For the last 4 years, we have asked you to seek truth in this way as you have honed your intellectual skills. These are rare gifts, the gift of community and the gift of mind. And as with all of life's most precious gifts, they come with responsibilities. First, to keep the Dartmouth Fellowship strong. When a Dartmouth student or fellow alum reaches out to you, take that call. Stay involved with the college and offer your time and talents to ensure that our campus remains vibrant and a place of connection. And above all, do what you can to ensure that a Dartmouth education remains accessible to all worthy students, regardless of their life circumstances. And your second responsibility is to use your mind and your voice to seek truth and speak truth to a world that desperately needs it. You are entering the so-called real world, a world that's sometimes described as post-factual, as if that's a good thing. A world where too often opinions dominate and evidence and reason are dismissed. As Iris Murdoch put it, we live in a fantasy world, a world of illusion. The great task in life is to find reality. Well, you can do it. Your Dartmouth education has prepared you for that task. Let's leave the fantasy to Phil and Chris. Today, we are graduating, you and I. I look forward to sleeping later in the morning. I expect you have earlier mornings in your future. But I will forever cherish the time that we had together and will be eager to learn of the mark that you'll make in this world. And until then, I'll be watching and rooting for you, alumnus to alumnus, truth seeker to truth seeker, Dartmouth family member to caring Dartmouth family member. Best of luck to you all, and may you always keep Dartmouth close to your hearts. Thank you.
Will the audience please rise and join the airs in the singing of 2 verses of the Alma Mater.
Dear old Dartmouth, give a rouse for the college on the hill, for the lone pine above her, and the loyal ones who love her. Give a rouse with the will, for the sons of old Dartmouth, for the daughters of Dartmouth. Though round the good old earth a roamer's spell on them remains, they have the still north in their hearts, the hill winds in their veins, and the granite of New Hampshire in their muscles and their brains, and the granite of New Hampshire in their muscles and their brains. Dear old Dartmouth, set a watch, lest the old traditions fail. Stand as sister stands by brother, dare a deed for the old mother. Greet the world from the hills with the hail, hail for the sons of old Dartmouth, for the daughters of Dartmouth. Around the world may keep for her their old undying faith. 23! They have the still north in their soul, the hill winds in their breath, and the granite of New Hampshire is made part of them till death, and the granite of New Hampshire is made part of them till death.
Congratulations, class of 2023. The audience is requested to be seated while the platform group, faculty, and graduates march out.
Thank you.